Hi guys, Matt Schlicht from Zapchain, and I'm here with Derek Minter, the co-founder of Honey Badger. They're the leading recruiters for the Bitcoin space. Welcome to the Bitcoin course.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to chat a bit.
Yeah, I mean, so Bitcoin is obviously, it can be super complicated in the beginning, and so we're helping all these amazing people watching right now learn more about Bitcoin.
Awesome.
So tell us a little bit about Honey Badger.
So like you said, we are building a recruiting platform for Bitcoin startups. We were kind of moved to get into the space after seeing the quality of talent that was already kind of getting involved and the quality of VC money going there. And so we're really focused on folks who haven't really proclaimed their interest yet in Bitcoin, but we've kind of made an assumption that people are playing around with it and doing work at night and moonlighting. So we want to create a platform that enables people to kind of let themselves be known or kind of make us aware, like, hey, I'm interested in this space, but I love my job. Right. Let me know when that match happens. So it's been a wild ride for us so far, but we've been really impressed with the interest that we've had so far from both sides. Yeah,
I mean, I've had so many people talk to me about Honey Badger, and they're like, "Yeah, Honey Badger. Whenever I leave my job, they're gonna go help me work at a Bitcoin company." Yeah, so let's take a step back from Honey Badger for a bit. So, like, you know, Bitcoin's been out for 5 years now, or a little over 5 years. But how did you originally hear about Bitcoin? And when you heard about it, was it like super confusing?
Yeah, I actually I had just left Google and was working at a YC startup called Coderwall, and we were working on a recruiting platform there. So pretty early on when I started there, something about Bitcoin came up on Hacker News, and so me and the founder, Matt, spent some time over lunch, probably 30 minutes talking about it, and both of us left with our heads hurting. So that kind of planted the seed, but it was something it was almost too big to even try to tackle at that point. But it was one of those things that kind of, as I saw news kind of down the line, it was like, oh yeah, that it's kind of gaining some steam. And but yeah, it made my head hurt for sure.
So you went from going to Hacker News, which for everyone that doesn't know, Hacker News is a really excellent collection of news articles submitted by and curated by like entrepreneurs and hackers and stuff. So after you found out about Bitcoin on there and it kind of blew your mind, I guess.
Yeah.
Then like how did you get to going from there? You know, you were working at another company to deciding to stop working there and actually go start a new company in the Bitcoin space.
Yeah. So it's actually interesting. Like the moment that I had like my aha moment was just me recruiting for a startup in the city, and somebody's LinkedIn, John Waller. He's in Japan, I believe now, but he's pretty. He's doing some cool stuff in the space. But anyways, I came across his profile, and it basically said, "I'm interested in Bitcoin. If you don't know what this is, drop everything and read this article." And so it was an Eric Voorhees article that was really understandable. I think since then there's been a lot of material out there, and that kind of makes it easier, and you know, some stuff like this. But yeah, I read that article and kind of had my first like, whoa, that's a big moment. And from there, you know, I kind of sent it along to Josh, who's now one of my co-founders, and we both fell down the rabbit hole. So we spent probably 2 or 3 months. Like first we started, you know, trading a little bit, but beyond that, we were kind of, it was an opportunity for us to kind of get technical. We're kind of wannabe nerds, and we always interact with so many smart people, and so you know, it opened up a lot of doors for us. But lots of all-nighters trying to learn about it and understand the math behind it. And then you start to get beyond the money use case and see how much more that technology can do. So yeah, after about 2 or 3 months, I actually it just had that moment of like, I can't work for anything else but Bitcoin. So there wasn't much at the time. I came across a Craigslist ad for one of the jobs that was actually here at Boost with Snapcard. And I was like on the verge of saying, hey, let me work for free. I just want to be around a company. And so that kind of started a kind of exploration where I just got coffee with a founder. And he's like, dude, like, you get the blockchain thing. Like, you have a job here if you want it. I don't know what you do, but like, we struggle to find people who are passionate about this and that get it. So he's like, I would hire you right now, but let me do you a favor. You should start this company. I think it could solve a lot of problems in the industry. So yeah, it's been a wild ride ever since then.
Wow, and I guess maybe he kind of tricked you because he like needs to hire more people,
right?
And so instead of bringing you on, he's like, how about you go like get money from investors and have them pay you, and then help me, hire more people.
Yeah, well, it's funny. So he. That actually came up a little bit. He's like, I've never used recruiters. In your case, like if, we could probably figure something out if you want to do this on the side. But so I think he could have gone that route. It was kind of cool. I think this speaks to the Bitcoin industry of it being a little bit, it's the most communal like technology I've seen. So it almost seems like in that moment, he's like, I could have this recruiter, or they could build something really cool for the industry.
Like Derek could improve the industry.
Right.
Like more if he started his own company.
Right.
That's pretty cool. What, like you've been in other industries, like you were at Google, you've worked with Y Combinator companies, now you're in Bitcoin.
Right.
Some of these other industries are exciting, right? But is there something different about Bitcoin? Like, are you noticing that, like, is it more exciting?
Yeah, so Bitcoin startups face a lot of the same problems that any startup does. One thing that we're building off of is just recruiting is pretty broken in itself. Most engineers in the city are getting so much spam that it's just like a knee-jerk reflex to say like, you're spamming me, screw off.
Like, go away.
Right.
Yeah.
So one thing when I was at CoderWall, we were trying to solve that problem for developers, and we were targeting a very high market or a very high caliber candidate, and we found that people that are making $160K at Google, for example, are willing to leave to maybe work at a charity or something. Like their pay requirement drops to $80K. So we saw this trend, and I think all the guys that are on the Honey Badger team, we've always been in a position where we can always win that war of like pay, benefits, all of that. We've always been at companies that, if it's Google or Facebook, Ryan just left Facebook actually.
Ryan is another co-founder of Honey Badger.
Yeah. So, we got a unique view that...
By the way, I like that you somehow, like, you're saying that you can get people to leave, like, these huge companies to go work at Bitcoin companies, and part of that is, like, you got someone to leave Facebook to go work at Honey Badger?
Yeah, so, that was a big win for us. We had our eyes set on Ryan for a bit, and we kind of had an experiment with him. He was a little bit later to like starting to go down the rabbit hole, and Josh and I kind of said like when he's kicking our door down that he has to work in the space, like we'll bring him on. Like, and so we basically made this bet of like, here's your material to read, and you're smart enough to get it and have the aha moment. And it was really cool to see that over a month or two.
And like you called it.
Yeah, it was great. All the bets of like the bets that we made on smart people being the ones that are catching on first and getting it and dabbling right now, like to see that firsthand on our own company is really cool.
So, like when you're talking to someone, I mean, it's still like crazy actually that you can go talk to someone from like one of these major tech companies, which, I mean, everybody watching has heard of these companies. They use them every day, you know. And going to them and saying, hey, you know, maybe not leave now, but like if we have an opportunity and like there's an up and coming Bitcoin company that needs to hire someone like you, like would you be interested in us like connecting you guys?
Right.
Like the concept that most people in the world still think of Bitcoin as magic money, and they don't understand that it's not just a currency, and there's this huge like, you know, protocol, which is the blockchain that's powering it, and that could potentially change the world.
Right.
It's crazy that these people, these big tech companies are actually doing this.
Yeah.